Peace, family. What is good? What's up? Is Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. As you come into the chat room, please do me a favor. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, all that stuff. You guys should know what to do by now. I mean, you guys should know what to do by now. Okay. And yes, if you're watching, I know who you are. I have my favorite shirt on. Yes, I'm wearing it again. I think I've only worn it maybe once this week. In fact, I don't think I've worn this shirt at all this week. But yes, I have my favorite shirt on, my Niger shirt. And I got on the World Cup Niger sweatpants as well. That's what I'm rocking today, y'all. That's what I'm rocking. So again, like, share, subscribe. Make sure you go to dynastymir.com. Make sure you go to Danfo, DANFO.Africa tour. We're rolling to Sierra Leone in 3 days, y'all. 3 days. We're rolling. We're out. So if you'll like to join us in Sierra Leone, hit me up. Go to Danfo.Africa. If you want to roll, you can still roll. We still got room. We got like one slot. We got one slot remaining. Also, if you'd like to roll to Nigeria with us, again, if you'd like to roll to Nigeria with us in August for the Oshun Festival, again, in August for the Oshun Festival, hit me up. Let me know. Go to Danfo, DANFO.Africa. Again, please go visit Danfo, DANFO.Africa. Greatly appreciate it. Also going to Senegal in October. Back to Sierra Leone in November, December, and then we're hitting up Benin Republic in January. So I am looking forward to going to Sierra Leone. We are going to have a great time. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to be back home. I still got to pack. In fact, I'm gonna start packing today, and I'm gonna clean some today because I don't like when I go out of the country. I don't like coming back home to like a dirty home. So I'm gonna clean my house up today a little bit, and then um, start packing today because I always do everything last minute. Again, I always do everything last minute, and I don't feel like I don't want to do everything. I don't want to do everything and feel rushed last minute because I'm always running through the airport like OJ. You guys don't remember the old OJ Simpson commercials, um, the old OJ commercials. The was a dollar rent a car or something like that. Yeah, the old OJ Simpson commercial. I'm always running through the airport like OJ Hartsfield Jackson. Got to get to security because I'm always late. And when I went to Senegal, when did I go to Senegal? I think it was like this past December. Yeah, in December when I flew to Senegal, I almost missed my flight from Atlanta to JFK. Was running through the airport. They were so kind enough to let me go ahead and check everything in because the line was so long, man. Like it was just being ran terribly. But we're good. Can't wait to go. Can't wait to see my Sierra Leone people. So if you're gonna be in Sierra Leone, we arrive April 18th. So 19th, we're gonna be in Sierra Leone April 19th through May 1st. I'll be there. If you want to link up, let's link up. And I'm headed to Nigeria May 1st. I'll be in Nigeria from May 1st to May 5th. And then I will be heading to Senegal. I'll be there from May 5th to like May 10th, somewhere around there. So, if you're around, hit me up. If you're in Nigeria around that time, hit me up. Origin Beer on me. Again, Origin Beer on me. So let's jump right into it. Y'all, I thought everything was gonna go back to normal. Again, I thought everything was gonna, and I'm gonna play this video, guys. What's the parental or discretion or violence? I forgot the little disclaimer they give you when you're about to play a video that could be kind of violent and controversial. So let me go ahead and give that disclaimer. But I thought everything was going to go back to normal once we got rid of the orange man. I thought, it was going to be peace on earth, roses, skipping through the tulips. I thought all of that was going to happen once we got rid of the orange man. I'm confused. Like, what's going on? I'm confused. I thought it was going to be peace. The cops are going to be nice. People are going to be nice. There's going to be no war. Because they were saying that, oh man, if we got to get rid of Trump because war. He's going to start World War III. Well, he's gone. It's just like we're kind of in a proxy war of World War III right now. See, I thought all these good things were going to happen. I thought your student loan debt was going to be canceled. You're just going to wave a magic wand and cancel your student debt. I thought all this stuff was going to happen once we got rid of the orange man. I thought all that, but it seems like it's gotten worse. And so this young brother, Patrick, hold on one second, Congolese too, which leads me to another point. Listen, Patrick Lyoya, Patrick Lyoya, which leads me to another point. Okay, my immigrant family. All right, my immigrant family. I love y'all. I love my African, Black, Caribbean immigrant family. But my thing is like, look, okay, your parents, your family sacrificed so much to get over here. Why? Why are y'all? I mean, why come over here and get in trouble? I mean, God, listen, man, and rest in peace to the brother. It's unfortunate what happened. But my first question is, guys, okay, listen, you get pulled over by the police. Why are you running? Like, where are you running to? And for what? Like, you get pulled over, where are you going? Why are you running? That's my first question. You get pulled over by the police, they try to detain you, and you take off running. Where are you going? How far do you think you're gonna go? And where are you gonna go? And how long do you think you're gonna hide? That's my point. I don't understand the running part. And my African and Caribbean family, this ain't Africa and this ain't the Caribbean. Like, okay, you get pulled over somewhere, Caribbean, Africa, you could pay a little bribe. Hey, here you go, Mr. Officer, and it's all good. But in America, it don't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Like it doesn't work like that. You're not gonna get pulled over and give the cop you know 5,000 naira, 10 CDs, it's just 20 CDs, or whatever. It doesn't work like that here in America. I'm just saying, like, you can't come over here doing stuff you did in your country here in America. It's not gonna work. When I'm in Africa, I done seen civilians getting fist fights with police, and they just break it up. Like, I'm serious. I have witnessed fist fights with the police in when I've been traveling overseas. And you know what? They break it up and they keep it pushing. You're not gonna box the cops here in America. Like, it's not gonna happen. You're not gonna box the cops. You're not gonna, the cop ain't gonna take your offer of 5,000 safer to let you go. I mean, it don't work like that here in America. You're not gonna fight. You're not gonna argue your way out of it. You know, it's just like it doesn't work that way. No, no, no. This is the point I'm saying. Listen, okay, if you get pulled over, the last thing you want to do is run. That's the point. Like we got to be accountable. Yes, have there been examples of people who have been complying and were killed? Absolutely. But when you check, when you run, when you resist, it's not gonna work out. Let me pull up this video real quick. Guys, again, police hit the hold on, here goes the dash cam video right here. Hold on. Guys, we're gonna watch the dash cam video. Hold on 1 second. Why is there no sound? Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me fix the sound. Here we go. Hold on 1 second. I'm not saying it's right what he did, but again, nothing's gonna come from you running, and that's the point. You're not gonna argue with the police. It's not you. You can't listen. You can't have court on the street with the police. It's just is not. It don't work that way. It just does not work that way.
English.
Yes.
Can I see your license?
What do you want?
The plate doesn't belong on this car. Do you have a license or no? Do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
Where is it at?
It's in the car.
Get it for me.
What do you want?
The plate does not belong on this car.
Amen. Y'all be my right there. Right there.
No, no, no. Stop. Stop. Put your hands right. Stop.
I mean, guys, listen. I'm not saying it was worth the death sentence. I'm not saying that. But either you got your license or you don't. I mean, you have your license or you don't. You riding dirty or you not. Okay, you don't. I mean, guys, like I'm not marching over this. I'm not. I'm not marching. Either you listen. I've been pulled over with no. You guys, listen. I've been pulled over with a spire tag. I've been pulled over, no license. You get pulled over, Mr. Amir. Do you have your license? No, I don't have it on me, sir. They write you a ticket. You go fight it in court. Or I had the license on my phone. I've been pulled over, expired tag. I've been pulled over, the drive out tag expired. Mr. Amir, sir, your tag is expired. I'm sorry, sir. I listen. It's been a couple times, sir. I'm sorry. I just haven't had the money to go and get a new tag. The cops let me go. They said, okay, sir. Like, I was up the street from my house. This is back when I first moved to Atlanta, when I graduated from UGA. I was driving in an old white Mustang for with an expired drive out tag on it. And you know what? I told the police officer, look, sir, I at least had, I think I want to say I had insurance on it. I don't think I had insurance on the car. I just said, Mr. Officer, look, I don't have it. I don't have the money to pay right now. I live right up the street. You know what he did? The cop let me go. Or, I'm gonna tell you what the cop did. He wrote me a ticket, but my car should have got towed. In fact, my car should have got towed. He just wrote me a ticket, said, Mr. Amir, go home. I'm just saying, like, guys, we can't go out like this. That's the point I'm trying to say. We get militant and want to fight the police over the wrong thing. Like, look, you have no tag. You ain't got your driver's license. Like, what you fighting for? Mr. Officer, I don't have my license. The tag doesn't match the car. Handcuff and you fight another day. I'm not saying he deserved to be killed. Guys, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. And then what I'll do, I'll go ahead and put the link in the chat room for you guys to call in. Same thing. I was in Los Angeles, California. I was driving down Wilshire Boulevard. This is when I first moved to LA back in this was like 08 or 09. I was in my black Mustang. Still had the Georgia tag on it. Tag was expired. Cop pulled me over. Showed him my license. I was just honest with him. He said, you know what, sir, since you have an out-of-state tag, I'm going to let you go. And that's it. And I went around my day. This is not the way to go. That's all I'm saying. You guys, this is not the way to go. You know when you're wrong. Like, you know when you're wrong. No tag, no license. Just say, you just go ahead, let them cuff you. Do what you got to do. But this right here ain't the way to go. I'm sorry. I can't defend this. It's wrong what happened to him, but I'm not marching.
$19.50. You got one running. North Cloud.
Bro, where are you running? And see, guys, this isn't necessarily for you, okay? This is for the younger generation. Like, where are you running? Like, where are you running to? Like, it's just a license. Like, where are you running to? That's the point I understand. Like, where you running? Where are you going? Then your pants saggy, you run, you got to pull your pants up. See, the majority of y'all, you got on big tennis shoes, you got on Jordans, Air Force Ones, you're sagging your pants, you ain't ready to run. You ain't running in those skinny jeans that are sagging with Jordans. Like, you're not running nowhere. You ain't gonna go far. Majority of y'all ain't got lungs, you out of shape. Where are you going? You got on skinny jeans, you sagging. You got on Air Force Ones, you got on Jordans. You out of shape? Where you going? Stop it. And this is a message to, the younger kids. I'm just saying, where you going? With some skinny jeans and some Jordans sagging. That's the only point like, where you going? And see, this is to, the younger generation. Listen, if you ain't got your stuff together, there's no, what you fighting for? You know you're wrong. Like, what you getting militant for with the police over you not having a license, you riding you riding dirty. Then you want to fight and run.
Stop! Stop!
Okay. Dang.
Stop! Stop!
Okay.
Get your hands behind your back!
Okay.
Hands behind your back!
Okay.
What you doing? Like, listen, what do you mean he's clearly not fighting? Are you serious? What do you mean he's clearly not fighting? Yes, if I was a cop, I would have need him as well. Look at the cop needing him. Yeah, what is he supposed to do? What was the cop supposed to do? Guys, you want to call in and add to the conversation, and if you disagree, tell me what I'm missing. What are you supposed to do? Oh, he was kneeing him. Yeah, of course he was kneeing him.
Yeah, tell me you good.
Get your hands behind your back!
Okay.
1950, more card.
Gas him up. Go ahead.
Yeah, what's going on, Dynast, man? It's terrible, man. May the brother rest in peace. I personally try not to watch these videos anymore, just for my to keep certain things out of my mindset, because you are what you consume visually, mentally, and also as well in terms of food. But I work in the school system. There was recently a video where the young man, I think his license was expired. He was in the car with his mother, and he drove off against the police, and his mom is defending him. you know um just here, I was it's funny enough, I was coming out of because I'm in a high school, and I came out, I saw a friend at the local grocery store. I haven't seen him in years, and we were just talking about how it's difficult to reach the young men and women to teach them. And as soon as we were saying that conversation, like 40 kids with knives were chasing these other two kids, right? One ran down that way, the other one this way. I think it's unfortunate. The system, there is systemic prejudice, racism, a lot of things against African Americans. I'm not ADOS or FBA, so I don't want to speak for them. But I will say I've had police pull guns out on me. I've never committed a crime a day in my life. They've pulled guns on me, right? They've harassed me. Um, but I think, like you're emphasizing, there has to be a code of conduct when you're engaging with the police. A lot of times people don't understand the police are not the jury. So their job is just to arrest you and book you. Arguing with them, begging them, pleading with them. Once they initiate the process of arrest, 9 out of 10 times they're going to go through with it. So there's no point. Um, but especially for young black men, I think it's a problem of discipline because I see it in the school system. I see it with the girls too, especially the girls, but especially with the young men because the system reacts violently to them. Uh, these young boys, they'll be very rude, very disrespectful, and you can't really say anything to them. A lot of times I'll call home, say, hey, your child's acting like this. Some parents care, some parents don't. You baby this young man, you baby him, and you keep making excuses for him. Then, like Diana says, he's out of shape. He's wearing these Nikes. He gets into the real world. So he didn't turn in his homework. They're not seeing how him not turning in his homework throughout the school year turns into him not making sure that his tags are up to date, turns into him not making sure that his license is up to date. These little things that parents ignore, in my opinion, turn into these, you know, lifestyle choices that have them running into these encounters with the authority. And the police are going to respond with aggression. Why? Because the police officers want immediate compliance. And as
Right, but
as an educator, yeah, go ahead.
you said respond with aggression, but in this video, who was the initial aggressor?
No. I'm not talking about the young man. Of course, he didn't have to run, right? But what I'm saying is that the aggression, in the sense that it's called a police force. It's not called a police friend. It's not called a police kiss. It's called a police force, right? So the police are there to create immediate compliance. And if the police officers give you an instruction, if you don't comply, they will use force to get their way, which may include kneeing you, positional asphyxiation, all kind of things that will happen.
And
And
see,
I
guys,
just don't. Yeah, go ahead,
this,
sir.
sorry to interject, man. Sorry to interrupt. See, this is the problem I have. Khadijah Lot, the police had aggression in his tone. Bro, it's simple. Listen, where your license at? All right, let me go check the car. No, dude, it did. I mean, how was his tone supposed to be? Sir,
People like her, unfortunately, I can see where she's coming from, but she doesn't want to face the reality. No one may not want to say it. The
nobody
reality
wants
is,
to face the reality, gas him up. Like, it's easy. Listen, you pulled over, sir. Let me see your license and registration. Either you got it or you don't. Yes, sir. The tag that's on the vehicle does not match the vehicle. What the hell you got going on? Okay, where's your license at? Where what you mean? His tone.
yeah, this is what I'm saying. They're expecting to be treated like first class citizens when, again, police comes from the word policy. It's not even that whole KRS overseer. That's BS. If you study the history of the police, it starts with the French and the Germans. The Germans codified it, right? And of course, it took its heyday, modern policing with the British Scotland Yard and all that nonsense. But it comes from the word policy. What is the policy of the U.S. government? Plessy v. Ferguson. We're not first class citizens in this country. I hate to say it. It's like we don't want to admit it, man. We're second class citizens. So when we go to the store, we get followed. It is what it is. When Ryan Coogler is at the bank, it is what it is. That's the price we pay for staying in this society. Now we can keep fighting and saying one day it will change. I hope it does. But at the end of the day, it has not changed. It won't change. The police are meant to enforce immediate compliance. They're not going to talk nice to you, right? You can't expect a guy who grew up in a neighborhood that where he's consumed images of people that look like you and I, negative images, negative stereotypes. He looks at us a certain way. You can't expect him to come into our communities and smile with us. So it's just not going to happen. They're going to be aggressive, unfortunately. So we can't just give them the reason to go on and carry forth that aggression. And I'm sorry to say, our people, I see it in the school systems, and like people like Khadijah. I'm sorry to say, I have parents like her. Your kid is disrespectful, man. And when I call you in your house and I tell you about this stuff, you give me excuses. But this is what it leads to, because now your child grows up thinking they can combat with the police. As an educator, I can't do anything about that. I'm gonna just pass your kid and let him go on. But the police gonna bust his head open. And that's just is what it is. And you can cry all day, but now this person is dead. This person is dead. So we have a choice. Do we change our behavior? Do we conduct ourselves differently and start coming up with ways to get power so we can be protected like other classes of people? If not, we could keep wasting our time. You ain't got to talk to me like that. He came to me disrespectful. Great, lady. He's still going to whoop your ass. But, I don't want to talk too much on that. I don't know.
Okay. Jay Bones, go ahead, Jay Bones.
Hey, Prince, how are you, bro?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
Yeah, man. This thing is getting real heavy. Like, I mean, it's a lot of complications to it, and I don't want, the confusion to arise. Like, the whole video, like everything is just completely wrong. Like from the beginning to the end. I think dude was scared, but like, it's true, Prince. He shouldn't have ran. Like all that, because it's like it's a whole bunch of different things mixed up into one. But where was he going? Like where were you trying to get to the other side of the neighborhood, or like sometimes a lot of this stuff is like, and it's not
Like,
blaming.
like, where you going? That's my thing. Where you
Yeah, like
going?
it's not blaming him, but it's not supporting the police either. It's like I feel sorry that he died. Like as a person from Africa myself, I'm looking at the situation like, hey, yo, I wish the brother just, I wish he was alive. I wish that everything was fine. But like the whole thing is confusing. I'm like, where was he going? Like, were you running to like, did you think he was gonna get far or something like that? Like, were you trying to wrestle him or like, and that situation too was like, you look at it, it was some sort of a modern day execution because
Hold on. Stop the show. Raider sniper. Him running away from another person is wrong. How are you? I think some of these people are trolling. I think Raider. You got to be. In fact, calling, but you got to be trolling.
what do you
You run. I mean, him running away from another person is wrong. How? I mean, I
wrong
think
how?
some of these people are trolling, bro. They got to be trolling. But go ahead.
Yeah, sorry about that, Prince. But yeah, it's so what's his name? It was another situation just like this. A lot of people forgot because as soon as it happens to one of us in our community, everybody's kind of shocked about it. Like, oh man, an African got killed by the police. Like, I remember when Amadou Diallo got killed, it was a big shock to us. Everybody was like, what, an African got killed by the police? So it was like and what's his name, not too long ago, I think it was in San Diego PD, they shot and killed a dude from Uganda, and he was doing the same thing. If you go back and watch the video, he was doing the same. This looks like the same scenario.
Jay, can I ask a question? Because I'm noticing the uptick in immigrants, African immigrants, period, black immigrants getting in situations like these. Like
Mm.
like why?
You know what it is too. I'm gonna say, Diners, and people get upset when it comes around. There's a difference amongst us. There's a difference. Like people think we all the same people, and we all kind of have the same sort of background when we were growing up and stuff like that. Nah, there's a different background. Remember, some of the people there's a class system amongst us. Some of the people that grew up in a village, they different from the people that grew up in the city. I'm starting to notice that there's a huge lower class level that is being allowed into the system. Like there's a huge lower class level that's being allowed to come into the system now, and a lot of them are real hard headed. We got a lot of hard-headed behavior. We got a lot of Africans coming in here. And even back in the day, let me tell you something, Prince. Back in the day, I was explaining this the other day. Back in the day, there was a check-in system. When we first moved there in the 90s, you had to check in. You had to check in with the elders in the community. Nobody checks in no more. There was rules of engagement. Somebody sat you down and said, "Hey, you don't go over there. You don't do this." There's a what do you call it? There's a lingo. There's rules of engagement. The new people coming in here, they're not following the rules of engagement, Prince. They're not following it. Like I said, I'm not blaming bro for dying, or like, because we know the police, whether you Caribbean or you African American, blah blah blah, this and that, but a lot of them coming in here, they're not following rules of engagement. A lot of them ain't following
Well, a
rules of
lot of them
engagement.
feel different. They think that they're different from African Americans.
They do, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, let me tell you, Gas. Like, I grew up on both sides of the culture. I'm what you call an 8 to 4. An 8 to 4 is only a small amount of us. An 8 to 4 African is basically 8 months in America for school year, and then 4 months back home. When you on, because our parents did that, so basically we would always remain more African, and we wouldn't pick up any American habits. But that 8 to 4 thing, even it's gone. We're not even doing that no more. I just found out that most of these parents, they don't even send the kids back to Africa no more. They just raise them here. So a lot of them, they pick up this hard headed behavior. You understand what I'm saying? They pick up a lot of this what's the word? This entitlement behavior. a lot of them are not following no rules of engagement. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, Prince, like I don't wish death on anybody, whether they black from the Caribbean or they African American brothers and sisters, or they black from Africa. But it's like with us, a lot of the African immigrants coming in, a lot of them, Prince, like a lot of them are not following rules of it. The check-in system doesn't even exist no more. We had a strong check-in system. I grew up on the East Coast. Let me tell you something. I grew up on the East Coast. The Ivorians, the Nigerians, and Ghanaians, we had elders that were posted up in Brooklyn. You went there, you checked in when you got here. They don't even check in no more. They don't even check like Prince. I just got back from Vermont. I was in Vermont not too long ago. Like it's a whole bunch of Africans that live up there, and over there they acting stupid too. So a whole bunch of not in Vermont. Just imagine that. I didn't even know it was black people in Vermont. Like I didn't even know there was black folks that live there. So we got a problem, and it's like I said, bro shouldn't have ran. He shouldn't have ran. It doesn't make any sense. I don't. I think he was scared, but it's a whole lot of craziness, Prince. Like it's a
I don't
whole
know if he
lot of
was
craziness.
scared. I think a lot of times, like I said, people don't understand the procedure. When the police pull you over, if they
Don't
initiate an
understand the
arrest,
procedure.
you're
No, don't
yeah,
understand the
Dennis.
procedure. Don't understand the procedure. It's just you got your license, you got your registration. That's a yes or no. And like I
True.
said, I've literally been pulled over, no license. Mr. Amir, you got your license? No. Okay. You go ticket. Show up to court, bring your license, and they'll and it's whatever. And just keep it
Yeah.
moving. Like
This
something
ain't
like
government.
that. If either you got it or you don't, and it shouldn't
Yeah.
last no more than a minute and 30, like no more than 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Well,
This ain't
you
Ghana.
know what it is that a lot of times the Africans and a lot of African Americans, they're still seeking their humanity to be validated by the oppression. They're waiting for the system. My friend, he's a comedian. He says, man, our people are waiting for the Mzungus to love us one day. So we behave. Oh, I'm a first class citizen just like you. And it's like, dude, you're not, man. They're going to follow you in the store. They're going to be heavy handed. I saw a video, I think it was in New Jersey, where there was a fight and the black kid was not the aggressor. He was actually defending himself. As soon as the police
Yeah.
came, who do you think they jumped on? They jumped on the black kid. And everybody's like, no, what are you doing? He didn't do anything wrong. So that's the system that we live in. Not going to
Yeah.
change anytime soon. But a lot of a lot of African Americans, a lot of African immigrants, a lot of Caribbean immigrants, they think, oh well, one day I'm going to come here and force this system to
To
respect and accept my humanity.
yeah.
Good luck.
This ain't the first time too. Not too far from where I live. On in Jersey here. This was like a couple of months ago. It was a brother from Jamaica. The police killed him too, right here on the highway. Like a state trooper just he put a whole bunch of bullets in his chest. And you watch the dash cam video for that, and he was like literally, it was the same thing. Like he was struggling with the police. It's like they got a gun. Like you got to put two and two together. Like they gonna shoot you. You got to follow rules of engagement. It's better just to take the ticket and go to court and try to fight it out. But you on a highway, you on New Jersey highway arguing with a state trooper, trying to get physical with him, and next thing you know, he pulled out the tool and put a couple in his chest. It's something
Dynasty,
going on.
Dynasty, did you see the comment that Corvus just posted in the chat? Corvus Glaive, he says they didn't shoot the dude. Do you see that comment?
White people are the most entitled, violent motherfuckers. They're saying about him. Why did the cops just tase him? Because they wanted him dead. That
Do you
one.
see my issue? Why do we
Yeah.
still ask this question? Like the brother said, we had Amadou Diallo, we had of course, Sean Bell. We had, I mean, this stuff goes on. We had Eleanor Bumpert in the '80s. Why do we still ask this question? Oh, they could have tased them. No, duh. But that's not what policing is for. Policing is immediate compliance, and if you don't comply, they are taught to shoot to kill, center
I
mass
saw,
shootings.
I saw the what's his name the press conference one time. I think this was the shooting that happened in Florida, and one of the ladies at the press conference, the reporter, she said, "Hey, y'all was so close proximity. Why didn't you just shoot him in the leg?" And then the what's his name? The police captain was like, "This ain't the movies." I was like, "What?" He said, "We don't shoot people in the leg. That's just in the movies. In real life, we're trained to shoot body mass or mass chest body."
Yeah, they shoot center mass. You got to
Center
shoot
mass.
center mass because number one, shooting someone in the leg doesn't mean you'll stop the threat. And if you aim center mass, there's less of a chance that you'll hit innocent bystanders. If you start trying to shoot people in arm and all of that, your bullets will miss you and endanger more people. So yeah,
Yeah.
they aim center mass.
Yeah, it's out of control though. Like a Prince, it's a whole different. It's a whole different of these. The generation that came after us. A lot of these young. I mean, I got to deal with some of these young brothers. Like I was talking to a kid the other day. You know, he grew up with us. He's from Nigeria, and when he was kids, he didn't act like that. Now he came into the crib with a blue flag on, throwing up, twisting his fingers on some. I'm in a gang and like blah blah blah. Suwu bird gang. I'm like, oh man, yo, this there's a whole new selection of Africans coming in here. I don't know where these people from, but yeah, man, I feel sorry for bro. Like I feel sorry that he lost his life. But this situation, it's just weird. Like you gotta fall in line. You gotta understand how this thing works. Like you ain't no different from the African American brothers and sisters here. Like they've been going through the situation. You gotta understand the code of conduct. Like seriously, Prince, like where was he running to? Where
Well,
is he going?
that's my point. Like, where are you going?
Okay, but
Where you
but this
going,
this is
bro?
my thing. This is my question though. Like, should the cop have shot him? No, like we got two issues here. Number one, where are you running? Okay, we got it. Okay, you shouldn't run. We got it. But like, if they kill us, all we gonna talk about is where are you running? Like that's all we got to say. Should the cop have shot him or not? You know what I mean? Because in the end of the day, we all know we all know we're second class citizens. But what are we saying here? Are we saying that when things happen to us because we're second class citizens, we should just put our head down and accept it and not speak out against the wrong of the officer and at the same time the wrong of the black guy? I think we should speak about both.
If we don't have the power to initiate the actual change, then to a certain degree, we should just keep our heads down and not say anything,
Until
unfortunately.
yeah,
And I'm not the one to say that.
yeah,
Well, no,
until
I would say
exactly. Yeah,
that there's going to be an incremental. Look, this is the thing, right? If um if you out and something happens to you and then your kids just see you just not stand up, not say anything, I mean, what type of message are you sending, bro? Like I don't see that. That don't make sense to me. I think you should, if someone wrongs you, you should say something. You know what I mean? I just don't get it.
Listen,
That's like if
I'll be
somebody
honest.
if a bigger dude comes up to you and slaps you, or the heavyweight champion or something come up and slap you, you just ain't gonna do nothing because he's stronger than you. You feel what
No,
I'm saying?
Hold on, Mufasa. That's apples and oranges, bro. That's not the same.
because listen, I used to be law enforcement, right? And I'm telling you guys that law enforcement doesn't work. Their training. It's every training is a form of brainwashing. Their training is not based on being friendly. It's immediate compliance. And as an educator now, when I tell a young student, "Hey, listen, I need you to do this," and they give me back talk, I don't say nothing. I let it
yeah.
be.
You
And
just let
and some of my students would say, "Mr. Fate, you're so mean." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." I said, "Because if you were with me when I was in law enforcement, we would flip you on your head and you would do what we say." You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, again, I'm not saying that it's right that we're second class and this is being done to us, but at a certain point, until we have the power to get, the state legislature involved, until we have the power to have these people removed who are the sheriff's department, until we have the power to initiate that change to a certain degree, we just got to take it. And I feel like a piece of crap saying that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
we
yeah,
just got to
Well,
take
no,
it.
you
yeah,
got to
get it.
take it, right? You got to take it, but you don't got to take it sitting down. Like
Yeah,
even if you could do something small, that's better than nothing. You know what I mean? Because if you sit and do nothing and then you show the kids, look, when people disrespect you, they kill your people, they sit and spit in your face. This is what you do. You do
Yeah, but
nothing.
Mufasa,
Like that. That don't even sound right, bro. That don't make
but this is
sense.
not. But this is not the same. Like, dude came up. Hey, you got your license and registration.
yeah,
You tag on your car, wrong tag on a different car. Where your license registration at? I mean, it's Apple. I'm not saying don't
I don't
defend
give a fuck.
yourself.
Like this is what I'm saying, bro. He shouldn't have run. Everybody agrees to that. I don't give
yeah,
a fuck though. You shouldn't shoot him. That's what like if you shouldn't shoot somebody for that reason. Like do you know how many people have ran from the police? I ran from the police. So basically I should have been put to death. I shouldn't have ran.
But
I
you got
ran from the
away.
police a few times when I was younger. You know what
But
I
you
mean?
got
And
away.
before in the 80s and stuff, people would do major crimes and then run from the police for hours. They got
yeah.
helicopters, they got all type of things, but they have systems in place to chase people. That's what they do. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And I'm not
I,
saying
I
that
think
dudes
I
should have
think
resist. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
I think back in the day, because you're saying that it's saying in the '80s. Like I heard about that though, because I'm a '90s baby. But like I think back in the day, they said They said back in the day it was normal though for y'all to run from the police. Like it was like a normal thing. And but they would they shoot y'all back in the day if y'all was running?
No, people didn't get shot as much. People got shot.
That's
People
not
have
true.
always
What
got
about
shot.
Eleanor Bumpert? Eleanor Bumpert was killed in her house. There was the other lady in Cali in the 80s. This has been happening. It just,
No, no, no. People have always got shot, but I'm saying if you talk to street guys that did their stuff in like the 80s and stuff like that, it wasn't like now where it's like you resist and you get shot. And then it's been happening, so it's so prevalent. A dude gets shot by police, they shouldn't shoot him. All
No,
we can do is
Mufasa,
get
I
on
think
here and talk about how he shouldn't have ran. Like
no,
what?
Mufasa. I think what's different, Mufasa, is I know in LA. So like in Cali, police roll in twos. So you always had an extra police officer there, and they will just beat your ass. Like you got one police officer, and I'm not defending what he did, but again, I mean, dude, like where are you going? You got your license or you don't?
I
You
agree with you
know,
100% on that part. I mean, we got to comply. You can't be dumb. And I'll even tell you, bro. When I was younger, at first when the police came, I was friendly and everything like that. But I started to study things. I started listening to Khalid Muhammad, reading books and all of that. And I started being on some I don't answer questions. I don't answer questions. And I did that for a few years. And I got held every single police stop. Every time they would do different things. I mean, every time me being like acting like that, I caught hell, even though I wasn't doing anything wrong. But when I would be friendly and just talk to the guy, and you know what I'm saying, I always would get out of shit. You know, I've got caught with nothing, no license, registration, and nothing. I mean, I was a football player in the city, and he figured that out, so he let me go. But I'm just saying, if I was being an asshole, he still would have, towed my car or whatever the case. So
yeah.
I get it. We got to be smart. You got to be. You can't be out here with emotion. So I'm not disagreeing with that at all. I
so
just
Mufasa,
I'm not. Go ahead.
no, I want to ask you this question. So again, so it's happened, right? We see this happen over and over again. What are some practical steps? What are 5 practical steps that communities? Because I don't want to say black people, because that's just too large a term. It's again part of that Orwellian doublespeak. What are the things that the people in his community? What are the steps that they can take to initiate a change of policy? To because again, policy police, right? To initiate a change of policy to possibly get this person removed from the force, excessive force. What are the 5 steps that can be taken? And if we don't have that in place, then we're just going to have to keep accepting this type of brutality.
No, no, no. I mean, no. You definitely should. We should be civically engaged before people get shot. You get what I mean? You should be going out. You should be involved. We should be doing these things before people get shot. But the thing is, a lot of people, once the anger runs off, they stop organizing, right? So you should be involved with you should be civically engaging your mayor, your local councilman, right? You should be paying attention. You should be attending these city council meetings. You should be involved in your city, right? This way you can put pressure on these people. We have to organize into groups. These are things that we should be doing outside of when someone gets shot. Don't get me wrong, but what I'm saying is I don't mind people having a response at the wrong of the police officer. We have to have the intelligence to separate two different things, right? The guy was wrong for resisting and the guy was wrong for shooting him. Yeah, I mean, I don't see why we can't deal with both. I don't, am I wrong? I mean, am I saying something that doesn't make sense? I mean, talk to me.
No, no, you're saying the exact right thing. But again, we say this. We just said it. How many weeks ago did we see this stuff happen? You understand what I'm saying? Like we keep saying it. Oh, they shouldn't do this. They shouldn't. Well, what they shouldn't do, they're doing it. And so my thing is this: let's not give them the reason, and then we can work on those other things.
Yeah, I say let's walk and chew bubble gum at the same time. I mean, in the end of the day, let's walk and chew gum. Um, I just can't. I don't know, man. Don't get me wrong. I see the logic in what you're saying, Gas, but I just can't sit here. I'm in the car with my daughter. We hear this news about what the guy did, and then she says, "Oh, that's messed up." And I say, "Yeah, nigga shouldn't have moved." And that's all I got to say anyway, and just move on. That don't make sense to me, bro. I don't want to raise no people like that, bro. That's not how we do. We haven't got down like that. That's not. We didn't get to this point like that. We got to this point from resisting, even though it's this passive resistance, the smallest resistance that we can do. It grows over time, and we get to the point where um we get to the point where now everybody wants to come here because black people can actually do things. They've been holding us back in many ways. You couldn't go into a court, you couldn't do all these different things. What if we said that back then? Oh, you can't do nothing, just sit back and take it. Like, no, you do what you can do. You resist how you can. Bro, we men and women, you stand up, you don't just sit there. Even though you can't get everything you want, you're gonna do something, some type of response. You know what I'm saying? In the end of the day, that's just how I feel. So yeah, I'll march for it. You know what I'm saying? If the guy was wrong, I'm not marching for him. I'm marching against the state. You get what I'm saying? So people want to dig into these people's situation and all of that. It's not about the person. We don't even know this guy. We're talking about the police officer that we hired, that we're paying. We're marching against him. You get what I mean? That's the difference
But
between
when
marching
you see that,
to the
that's a
other guy.
great point. You just said we hired and we paid him. Now, I don't know that I haven't looked at the numbers, but from an economic analysis, are we paying enough as a collective? Are the people who look like him paying enough as a collective to demand that type of, hey, listen, no, this is my taxpayer money at play? That's a great point. You just said we hired and we paid him. Now, I don't know that I haven't looked at the numbers, but from an
Oh,
economic
somebody turn
analysis,
the
Hey,
playback
hey,
off.
hey. Hold on, Trina. You got to turn off the background noise, Trina.
Yeah,
Get some,
I mean, listen. In the end of the day, we have systems in place. Whoever if you vote for your mayor, and they control all that. If you have an issue with that, you need to get behind a candidate that's going to pay them more and deal with that. But if you sign up for the job, you do the job. How much you paid and everything like that. That's something you need to take up with. Find a candidate and push it in the election.
so,
So
so
my
if you
answer to that
ask your
question is yes.
So if you
Yes,
ask
we're paying enough.
if you ask your local law enforcement officer, what is the goal when he steps outside on a daily basis? What is his three or four, let's say his 3 to 5 main goals of policing? Now I know what us on this panel would say it should be, but what do you think they're being trained as their priorities for policing? And I think that's the disconnect because we don't realize what law enforcement is taught. Law enforcement is not taught what we are expecting them to do, especially as third, second class citizens in the system. We're expecting them to, good.
if I get interject real quick, I want to read the super chat. Gas them up, my brother. What do you mean? Give them reason? The Tamir Rice, Botham John, and Philip, but completely different situations. Completely different situations. Like you can't compare Tamir Rice, Botham John, and Philip Castile to this shit right here. Like you can't even put it in the same
Yeah, okay,
category.
but Dynast, you see that. You think them people see that? All they see is, look, we kill these people. They don't even say nothing. Let's kill more of them. In nature, if you look weak or you appear to not put up no resistance or nothing, then people are going to do more. It's not going to lead to less. It's going to lead to more.
No,
So it's
I'm not
better to have
comparing this
some type
guy
of
with.
response.
I'm not comparing this guy with Tamir Rice, Botham John, and Philip Castile at all.
No,
That
you're
that
not
was.
going to do it, Dynast. But what I'm saying is white folks or certain people in places of authority where they can use it on black people, all they see is we kill them and nothing happens. You get what I'm saying? I agree with you, but that's how it looks, though. If they're killing someone when they shouldn't, is just killing somebody when they shouldn't. That's it.
All
But if
right,
we're
Trina
not,
Jackson. Oh,
okay, so
Trina Jackson, go ahead, Trina. Unmute yourself.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I think this is a power game that we're playing when it comes to the police. I'm just going to go by what Dr. Claude Anderson said earlier. Like he talks about empowernomics. We have to control the court system and the police department. It's like when you're powerless, how can you fight back? And we're powerless. So I think a lot of these police shootings are going to happen to the black people in this country, the black community even more because we're powerless. We have to get some type of power, some type of control.
I don't agree that we're powerless. You know what I'm saying? We don't have enough power to completely change the entire situation. But I mean, we're not powerless. Like in my city recently, there was a police officer that harassed a guy at a trolley station. And it clearly came out. He charged him with the wrong thing. And then people got like put a protest together. Everybody brought attention to it. This guy got fired. He was on Fox News the other day talking about how he had to have his job. He doesn't have all these things. That was a level of power. They affected that man's life. It's not as if we're powerless totally. You see what I'm saying? I don't think we should put it in that way. We just don't have all the full power to completely change it. But we're not powerless.
So let me ask you a question. What about if he was pulled over and that man pulled out an assault rifle and shot that cop down? What
Kill
would
him.
you say then?
Kill him. No. I'm saying, okay. I just read a comment. I didn't watch the video. I don't like to watch these videos like that. Did the guy present a threat? Like, was he trying to take his gun from him? Is that what happened?
They don't have time to
But see,
waste for
this,
that.
but this, okay, yeah, this is where I get confused. Like, you don't have time to, like you said, you don't have time to figure. Okay, I'm fighting this guy, I'm wrestling him. I don't have time to think. Oh, is he a threat? Is he gonna pull a gun out? Is he gonna use my gun against me? Like, you don't have time for that. The dude said a million times, comply. I mean, it's just like we can watch the rest of the video, but like Yasim upset, you don't have time to think. It's like Mufasa, somebody breaks into your house,
They're dead.
you know.
They're dead. Don't you don't gotta finish. They're
Okay,
dead.
that's my point. That's my point. You don't have time to think, is he gonna kill me? Is he gonna go after my daughter? Oh, is he just coming because he's hungry? You know, you don't have time
Okay, so
to
would you be
analyze
comfortable?
something.
Would you be comfortable with writing into the law if you resist an officer, you get shot and killed
But
on
it's
the
already
spot?
in the law. That's already there.
No, no, no,
That's
no,
what I'm
no, no.
trying to tell you guys. It's there. It's
Resisting,
immediate
resisting,
compliance.
resisting an officer doesn't mean you get killed.
No, no, no,
Like,
no. Again, if you
go
look
ahead.
at how the district attorneys frame these cases, they instantly tell you. First thing they'll tell you in law enforcement. Let me tell you the two things that they do in law enforcement. First thing, when I was getting training and it hit me, they said, fear for my safety. That's the number one thing they teach us, right? They teach us that when we were getting trained. Fear for my safety, fear for my safety. So you learn that. They burn that in you. Then the next thing is with law enforcement, they actually give them time. For example, so after an incident, you can come back and recollect your thoughts. So typically, let's say it's a perpetrator. The perpetrator, whatever you write at the moment, that statement you write with your adrenaline high, that's the statement they're going to take from you. But the law enforcement officer can actually come back maybe 72 hours later because they know when the adrenaline is high, your fight or flight response kicks in. You can't do fine motor skills. You can only do gross motor skills: punch, kick, grab, bite, things like that, shoot. You understand what I'm saying? So they give you time to cool down, recollect your thoughts, and then write your statement. So right away, it's already an imbalance, and they put these things in there. So when you, and I'm not a lawyer, but when you look at what these district attorneys are doing, it's there. It may not be a clear statute that says, "Hey, if you resist, you die," or "comply or die," but that's what it effectively turns out into. If you don't do the immediate compliance, 9 out of 10, they're going to be able to justify taking your life with the "fear for my safety" words.
No, listen, I get what you're saying. We all agree with second class citizens and things like that, right? We get that part of it, right? But that doesn't mean we have to accept it, especially when it comes to, like, you follow me around the store, I could deal with that. But like, if I come home and my son has been killed for running from the police, I don't even know how old this dude is, or whatever the case, like running from the police or something like that. I just feel like that's just too heavy handed. Now if he aimed a gun at you or was trying to reach for your gun or something like that, then hey, you play
Hold on.
stupid games, you
Okay.
win stupid
Okay.
prizes.
Okay. Mufasa. He just grabbed the guy's taser. I mean, Mufasa. He's grabbed Mufasa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's grabbing the guy's taser. Like,
Then
what? Okay.
he's threatening his life in that case then, because yeah, he could take that taser, tase him, and end up killing him. So that's different. That's a different situation. That's a different
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. I mean, it's clear right here. That's the camera. Like, it's
Yeah,
clear.
no, that's
Like,
why I asked that when I saw somebody put that in the comments.
But
That
Mufasa,
the dude.
even if he didn't do that, God forbid, right? And no one's family should get hurt. I don't wish that on anybody in this panel. But even if we did, I'm gonna be saying again, if it's two things. If we don't have the power to change the system and change policy, we're caught. Or like you advocated, and I don't want to say it on Dinah's channel, if you're not willing to say, I don't care about nothing else, and I'm gonna go hunt people down and get the people who did that to my people, then let's stop talking. That's the only two options I see. I don't know what you guys think. Either we change the
I
policy,
disagree.
or we start hunting down. And no one wants to do that. Everybody wants to go to Walmart. Everyone wants to go to Target. People want to go to Sierra Leone and enjoy that trip with Dynast. You understand what I'm saying? So no one
Yeah,
wants
no,
to
no,
take
no, no.
that route.
I think there's a middle ground. I think there's a middle ground. Like I said, we can advocate. We could do things like that. We just have to agree to disagree on that because in the end of the day, I just think we should speak up. It should be known. Like if you don't say anything, then people don't know where you stand. Like me personally, I'm not. Now this is different right here because I ain't gonna lie. If you fight an officer to the point where you're grabbing the thing and then it's a one-on-one thing, that's basically Mortal Kombat at that point. Like he don't know what you're gonna do. You take that taser, tase him, you could literally kill that dude. So I don't, you shouldn't be fighting officers or whatever. But in the beginning, I didn't watch the video. So I'm talking about running. Running doesn't justify that. But if you turn around, fight a guy, make a furtive movement, and someone shoots you, you know, the officer has to protect himself at the end of the day. See what I'm
Okay,
saying? So I'm not
Mufasa,
sticking up for
so
this. I'm not standing up for that.
Mufasa, so
Huh?
you're okay. So you thought that the guy was just running, a police officer just pulled out a gun and shot him in the back while he was running.
Right. I thought he was
No,
resisting.
no,
So I
no,
seen the
no, no,
beginning.
nah. This dude tussled with the police officer, was wrestling with him. You can see grabbed his taser. Yeah, and this was going on for
No,
an extended period
you're
of
gonna
time.
get shot. You're gonna get you. That's justifiable because look, if I like I said, I like to look at on both cases, right? Because I used to be totally anti-police. I mean, I was falsely arrested, sat in jail for 18 days, lost jobs, lost money. The police harassed. Honestly, I don't know how it is in y'all city, but they profile us, follow us, like they did a lot of shit. And I wasn't even a criminal like that. You know what I'm saying? So, um, so yeah, I used to be real anti, but now I understand. We really should be trying to be the police. And it took a lot for me to come to that conclusion, but it's the truth, right? So I look at it like this: if that was me or my brother, I wouldn't be a police, but if that was like my brother or something like that, and he's an officer, then yeah, I would expect him to defend himself in that case. So that's just the way it is. But if I was on the other side of it and I was just running, I shouldn't be shot. Or if I'm resisting, I shouldn't be shot. But if you're fighting someone, then yeah, you can justify a shot in a one-on-one fight like that. I
But
can't I
Mufasa, if
can't
we
speak
go back
against
to
it.
the
Well,
ancient
hold,
laws
hold,
of
hold,
nature,
hold, hold,
yep.
hold on, catch him up. We got Cassius Zulu. Go ahead, Cassius Zulu. Okay, he's not there. All right, Brandon. Go ahead, Brandon. Go ahead, Brandon.
Hey, can you hear me?
We hear you just fine.
Okay, so first I want to say this. The police ruin more lives than they save, right? That's the first point I want to make. That being said, the shooting did not look good, but the shooting was justified based on the set of rules that the police are obligated to operate on, right? There's a lot of things that this police officer did wrong. The procedure that tells this guy to engage with a guy one-on-one, tussling and struggling with him instead of calling for backup and all that. The police are taking billions and billions of dollars out of our taxes every year. Why are there police officers patrolling alone? It screams of the misappropriation and mismanagement of funds. These guys are constantly like, what would you rather do? Would you rather buy the cops a tank or some bullshit militaristic weaponry that they showcase all over the internet with the police logos painted on it? Or would you prefer to use that money to pay the salary of another police officer who can ride in the car with this guy so he doesn't get in a one-on-one struggle with that black dude to the point where he has to basically murder this guy execution style? He still had the strength to push the guy's head to the ground and shoot him in the back of the head, right? Me personally, I'm probably shooting the guy in the leg, the back, the ass cheek or something, just to just to immobilize him so I can do what I gotta do. I don't know how that guy's gonna sleep at night. You push somebody's head to the ground and basically blow their brains out. That looked like some mob style execution type shit to me. The police are
Brandon, like you said though, was justified though.
oh no, it was justified. That's why I said I didn't like the way it looked, but it was justified. But
I fear for my safety.
okay, so the police.
That's like that could be a legitimate fear for your safety though.
No, it could be legitimate. It could be
Yeah.
legitimate. But what is going on with the engagement? This guy looked like my daughter could have did a better job apprehending this dude than this grown ass police officer. He's like flailed out on top of the guy.
No jujitsu skills.
The guy has no jujitsu skills. Let's start there. He has none, right? My daughter knows some jujitsu, so she probably could have took the back and put him down. But the thing is, the point is with black people, forget If you're gonna fight to win. If you're gonna make a move quickly. If you at this point with a police officer, just give up. You're not gonna win. You're just gonna end up dead. Because the fact that this guy prolonged a losing fight for 90 seconds and then got his brains blown out, there's no way that was rational or smart thinking. We Black people need to understand who we are as a people, and we need to understand our limitations and our skill set. You're not going to win a tussling match with the police or a grappling match with the police unless you know how to grapple. 9 out of 10, if you're beating them in that situation, they're going to shoot you. It was just bad decision making on the part of the guy who got killed. Like, what was his goal? What did he expect to accomplish? But I believe that he was emboldened by the fact that he knew there wasn't no backup coming. I think he was emboldened by the fact that maybe he understands that there's a limited police presence in the city where he resides. And that shouldn't be the case because we are paying these police officers too much money for them to have a limited presence. And that's what I think is the problem. We need to be looking at the fiscal side of this. Why do they keep asking for more money, receiving billions every year, yet they can't find a way to hire enough personnel to do the job safely to where they got to blow people's brains out?
I mean, in the end of the day, like I said, you made a good point. Like, make up your mind, bro. Like, if you ain't gonna get arrested, you might as well just hit the gas. And they had a plan. If your car break down or whatever, you might as well just came out like guns blazing. You know, make your mind up. If you're gonna run. If you're gonna comply, bro. Make your mind up. You know what I'm saying? What was the point of stopping if you're gonna fight the officer? Just run. You know what I'm saying? Make your mind up.
No, listen. This is what I was saying. Brandon hit it right there. It's just like, look, if you're gonna take that stance, be ready to go all out. I'm not advocating that. I'm not encouraging anyone to do that. You know, don't come after anyone. But if that's the stance you take, old school laws of nature, just know, hey, this is my last sunset. I think the dudes that was protesting on that federal land, I don't know if you guys remember a while back, the white boy, and he was on the federal land or something like that. And they came and he said, y'all gonna have to kill me. And he pulled out his thing and they let him have it and he died. If you're not ready to go that route, leave it alone, man. Just, hey, listen, I'm caught. You're not the jury. And I think that's part of it is like a lot of people don't know the process. When they initiate an arrest, 9 out of 10, they're not going to go back. They're going to arrest you. And that's okay because they're not the jury. They're not the judge. Take your arrest. Hopefully, you know, your case can be proven. I mean, you do have like the Khalif Browder that happened in Rikers Island and stuff like that. But typically, you know, you should be able to win your case if you're in the right. So I don't know, like Dynas was saying, where was he running to?
The
Like,
guy
what was
had
he
a
thinking?
history of criminal activity too.
Not
What
only,
did you?
yeah, but
Yeah,
I was saying
was
again, I'm
assuming
in the
the time.
classroom. But you see, Mufasa, I'm saying I'm in the school system. I'm seeing these young men who have no respect for authority, and I tell them, I say, yo, you know, you're gonna run into a brick wall when you go out there because first off, them cops is not gonna take your disrespect. I'm not gonna say anything to you because hey, it is what it is. That's your life. But these are the young men who run into these brick walls. These are the young girls who get slammed on their back, unfortunately, when they run into these officers who are looking for a reason. And so, of course, when you give them that disrespect, the officers look at them paternalistically anyway. So they look at them like, how dare you talk to me crazy? And
I mean,
that
it's
whole
coming out
thing,
the homes, bro. It's coming out the homes. You got it right there, bro. It's coming out of the homes. Because I've seen situations where, you know, because they talk about the out of wedlock with stepfathers and stuff in a lot of these homes. But some of these mothers, right, they won't have the father, but then the stepfather, they won't even allow him to discipline the kids, right? So these kids, they just never been in that situation where a person of authority tell you, look, just shut up and do what I said because I said so. And if you don't, you know, it's going to be consequences. And so they don't have that ability, man. It's all coming from the homes, bro. That's the
exactly.
bottom
So
line.
can you imagine you've been in school from first grade to 12th grade and you never had to deal with the consequences of talking back to an adult or talking back to the authority figure. And now you get
I
into
mean,
the
like I
real
said,
world
I've
and you
seen
run
it
into that.
firsthand in my house. I've
But
seen it
this
firsthand in my house. I had one of my little brothers. He would get in trouble. He would sweet talk his way out of it. He would always do this stuff. You know, he didn't get no whoopings. Like I used to get a whooping every day. He never got none. And in the end of the day, he ended up doing that same stuff in the streets, and he's in and out of jail. Can't keep a job just because of that. Same old same.
But if
Brandon, you
you
gave an example with your daughter, right? You know how you said like when you talk to your daughter, how sometimes she mumbles. I'm not talking about your daughter, and you was like, no, use your words. That's a father giving his daughter clear instructions. No, use your words, express yourself. A
yeah
lot of these
because
kids I
you
teach, they don't have that.
yeah because you mumble some shit. Here's the thing: you mumble. You know nobody can hear you. You know the shit is inaudible. But then when people react based on the fact that they can't hear you, then you like, oh, well, I said this. No, you said it the second time. The first time you mumbled it and nobody heard you. But we got the thing is, we like I did a show on my channel called White People Are the Real Problem, right? White people damn near made it illegal for black people to discipline their children. Now they're dealing with the residuals of that. So in the end, it's kind of like they set us up to be the cannon fodder of the community because we can't instill the discipline in our children at a young age because we got to worry about the kid going to school saying, my dad or my mom hit me, and now your ass is going to jail, kids getting removed from the home and all this stuff. So then when the kids with no discipline hit the school system, the teachers is like, oh, it starts in the home. Mom and daddy looking like we've been totally disempowered. Like power has totally been taken away from us to discipline and establish rules with force and coercion. So how do you expect a kid who is basically immune, they have immunity from discipline in their home, to go out in the streets and understand discipline through coercion, right? For use of force in the streets. We're setting our youth up for failure. And white people might look at black people, well, why do you have to do that? Because we didn't have to do that. But that's a damn lie. I had a lot of white friends when I was young. White people be getting their ass beat by their dads to the point where sometimes their mama got to pull their daddy up off of them. And they still do that.
I've seen it. Yep.
But white kids don't go to school and tell their teacher, my dad hit me, my mom hit me out of spite, as a way, like a revenge tactic against their parents. You don't see that. So we have been stripped of power in our homes, and it's producing a very terrible. We're producing very terrible children who
But
go to
Brandon,
school
you
and
know,
get
Yes,
smacked.
this ties into your point about you and Dynas's point with the whole show, and Brandon made this point earlier on a couple shows back with this whole nonsense where they told us once you get Trump out of office, everything will be okay, life will be good. I go to the gas station, man. When this dude was in there, gas in New York was 160 something at Costco because that's where I buy my gas. Now I think I paid 380 something the other day for gas. You understand what I'm saying? Inflation is at 8%, and all these people
Hold
who
on,
used
man.
to
So
tell me,
what
yeah,
part of New York you in?
I'm in the Bronx, man. I told you.
It's only $3 for three. It's some
Yeah,
change.
380 something, 380 something, it's 380 something. It's four because I buy it at Costco. It's for something outside. I buy all my gas at Costco. But my point is that you know, it's crazy because everybody was saying, yo, once you get this guy out of office, I asked people, hey, what Dynas was asking the girl, what did Kevin Samuel say that's so bad? And they couldn't answer. I said, what did that man do that was so bad? No one can answer me. They would say, oh, well, it was the way he talked. It was what he said. I didn't feel comfortable. Okay, now he's out of there. No one's saying these crazy things, but is your life better? And I want people to hold these people accountable. These people who voted him out, and I'm not a fan of him or anything, but these people who voted him out, where are you people now? Inflation is at 8%. Where are these people at, Brandon?
Dynas and gassed them up. You hear people in the comments talk about you could discipline your children without whooping them. You could discipline your children without hitting them. Let me tell you something. Me, I've never hit my daughter. I don't have to. Her mother handles, for the most part, her discipline. I'm sure she done got her little ass slapped a couple times or something. I just never saw it, right? Now, people could say you don't got to spank your kids to discipline them. I train dogs for like for a living as a like side hustle. I've watched dogs interact 1,000 times. When a little dog does something that the mother doesn't like say when the mother breastfeeds the dog and then the little dog start growing teeth and stuff so they can no longer breastfeed, but they'll still run up on their mama and grab a whole mouthful of nipple, teeth and all, very sharp little puppy teeth, right? That hurts the mother. When they hurt the mother, she turns around and she gives them a warning bite to let them know how that hurts and you are past the age of breastfeeding. She can't talk to them. She can't sit them down and do a chart and explain how it feels in her nipple when they bite her and all that stuff, right? She communicates that way to let them know. Now, does the mother dog go around biting the puppies every 5 seconds, abusing them and attacking them and all that? No. She gives that warning to let them know, look, if you do continue to do something that I don't like, there is a consequence that is physical. That's what spanking your child is. You don't spank your child when they first do something. You give them words. Hey, don't do that. You don't spank them the second time. You give them words. Look, man, I warned you. Don't do that. Now, the third time, you've seen that the communication does not work with the child. Maybe you got a little Brandon up in your house who just gonna do shit just because that's how I was when I was young. I was wild as fuck, right? Getting kicked out of schools in the second grade, first grade. I was kicked out the district by the fourth grade several times, right? I had to go to a school where they did do corporal punishment. I was that bad in elementary school.
Your pops was locked up, right?
My dad was in prison. And
Yeah,
I
see,
got,
I'm telling you, bro, I worked in the schools, and Gas could probably back me up on this. Now, it was people whose father wasn't in their life, but the worst ones were the ones whose father was in prison. I don't know
yeah,
what it was. The ones whose parents was in prison were the worst.
Because
but
they were seeking love. They needed that father to hug them to tell them what to do. They need that, and
But
a
it be
lot of these
ones that
mothers
don't,
don't
their
don't know
father
that.
don't be around. It be ones
yo,
that
women,
father don't be around, but the ones specifically where the father is in prison were worse.
the
I
thing
don't know why.
is, like with me, I got a lot of love and stuff. My grandma, my mom, they were women, so they over nurture, right? You pretty much get wherever you want to. But I wasn't scared of them. I didn't have a healthy fear of them. I knew
Exactly.
they'll whoop my ass. I wasn't scared of like when I was like, I probably knew I was stronger than my mom when I was about 7 years old. I knew my mom couldn't. My mom would hit me, and I would just sit there and just I would have a mean face, like, you're not hurting me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't hurt me. But the point was, I knew I was stronger than her, and I knew there was really nothing she could do to me, other than try to whip me, and that didn't work. Kids have to have a healthy fear of somebody. That's what you have of the police. That's why you honor the law. People basically like, oh, we respect the law because we're civilized. You respect the law because he could kill your ass if you don't
You,
abide
you
by
know
the
what's
law.
funny, Brandon? You saying that because you gave that example about the parent, right? And I tell people all the time, it goes back to immediate compliance. So now, Brandon, you're out in the store, you're at the mall shopping with your wife, and then your son or your daughter is misbehaving at that moment, and you got to go. You don't have the time to sit there and say, well, listen, Brandon Jr., I have to explain to you that you can't get the McDonald's toy today because daddy has to go to the job appointment. No, you're going to snatch that child up and do what you got to do because you need immediate compliance at that moment.
Right.
And it baffles me. Like you read some of the chats or some of these women in the chat saying we're comparing our kids to animals and all this stuff, and it's like no, immediate compliance is a thing, and
Human beings
sometimes
human beings are animals. And the more we try to get away from that, the more you see it's true. Human beings are just mammals.
facts.
That's why milk comes
Animals
out
with
your
advanced
titties.
communication skills.
Animals with advanced communication and an advanced understanding. So you got to bring that shit back down to nature in the sense of, look, I've used all these advanced techniques of communication. This little dude just needs a whooping sometime.
I, I
And
mean, look,
it
look, look.
gets to that. That's
Everybody,
what the police are. They're
yeah,
enforcers.
everybody ain't the same too. Each kid
Yeah.
is different. I never had to whoop my daughter, but that's my daughter. I don't know what I'm gonna do for my son. You know what I mean? Because my dad, like I said, I cut up. My dad, like I said, you was mentioning a second ago about the police and all that. My dad said, look, you do it again, I'm gonna whoop your ass again. And if you go to the school and you tell them, oh, my dad is beating me, and they come over here, he said, I'm gonna whoop their ass too. And I believed him. I promise you, I believed him. I promise you, I believed him.
Hey, bro,
That's what a lot of
listen.
these boys need, man. They
Hey,
need that.
bro. I used to be doing some crazy shit. Like when I was young, I was fighting. Dude, I used to. One time I was 9. It was some gangbangers who used to hang out in front of our house. Bro, I got in a full-fledged fist fight with a gang member. His name is Troy. I know him to this day, a truck driver now. He was like 16. I was 9. But I just wasn't taking shit. I was like, I didn't care. I'll swing on you. You know what I'm saying?
Now,
And
Brandon, do you think you would have had that disposition if your father was out? Because, like you just said, a key point, right? You said you knew your mothers loved you and they disciplined you. And I think a lot of women don't understand that, especially in this country. They don't understand that part of a father's love is fear. Like sons fear, respect, and admire their fathers, but that fear is needed. It's masculine. And I try to tell women all the time, don't try to understand it. You will never understand it. It's a man thing. Like when guys walk in the room, we respect each other because what? Brandon can hurt me, I can hurt him. We're men. It could go to that point. And
right,
you understand that with your sons. And women try to sneak in and try to do this thing. And they when they interfere with that, like the brother was saying, Brother Mufasa, especially the kids who their dad is in prison. I had a friend, his father's been locked up, right? And he told me something. He said his father gave him a cologne, and he said he loved his father so much, he missed his father so much, he would just dab like a little bit every day because he just wanted his father. Now, my friend was bugged out. Same like Brandon, always fighting, getting caught up in gangs in DC and all that stuff out there. And it's like, damn, bro. And I said, wow, you really just wanted your father? He said, yeah. And
yeah,
and that's crazy.
your dad. The thing is, like, if you a big dog, you need a bigger dog to teach you how to conduct yourself in society. And my dad was a real rough dude. You know what I'm saying? My dad, people know my dad all over this city, LA, everywhere. I got people to this day walking up, man, your dad is ooh. He was a real heavy hitter in Long Beach. Now, the thing is, there's a YouTuber on here named Happy Companion. You can ask Happy Companion about my dad. He knows him well. But the thing is, when you talk about my sister, her son, he used to live with me. When he first came to my house, he was disrespecting his mom and shit like that. He tried to pull that shit on me. I had to put his ass in check one time. From that moment on, nothing but respect. The guy was failing out of school. He became a straight A student. He came to me, man, Brandon, you're like my. He was talking to me about some stuff that had happened with his dad. Him and his dad wasn't seeing eye to eye on something. He was like, Brandon, man, you're like my dad because I feel more comfortable around you and talking to you about stuff than my own dad. His dad is around, but he's not living with him. Then my sister came and he went back to live with my sister. Now he driving her ass crazy. She don't know what to do. Every other day I'm getting a call. I'm kicking him out of my house. He don't listen. He keep doing this and this and this, and he won't stop doing this. Dude, you're gonna have to be able to coerce your kid and your son to some degree, or else you're gonna be dealing with what my sister and my sister's confused because she says, "Why does he do so well at your house, but then he come home and then he acts like this? He don't listen to me." She don't understand. It's a difference. With a man, there's a healthy fear. With a woman, there's no fear once you get to a certain age. For a man, he's not afraid. He doesn't care. You're not a threat to him. So he's going to miss class. I get a call every day from my nephew's school. Your student was tardy to this class, absent to this class. When he was living with me, straight A's. I get calls. The calls say, your student is a pleasure to have in class. Now it's changed. Why? No more male energy in the house. No more male discipline in the house.
Somebody just said spanking your kids is from slavery.
Someone
Gas them
says
up. What do you
spanking
think
your
about
kid
that?
leads to someone says spanking your kids leads to domestic violence. But I don't want to touch that. I know Brother Jughead has been waiting patiently. So Brother Jughead, I know you want to add something to it.
Yes, sir. Greetings, Gaston. Greetings, Mufasa. Greetings, J-Bones. Greetings, Brandon, my brother. Greetings, Dynas, and the rest of the panel. Yeah,
Good.
the topic.
Good afternoon, bro.
Yeah, and the topic is quite distressing, but I sent that super chat to Brad Dynas regarding the comment. I'd like to reply to the comment that I made regarding the comparison of Philando Castile, Tamir Rice, and Both John. The point I was making was that police don't need a reason to kill you. That's what I was trying to make. I mean, guess what, you said, guess what, that don't give them a reason. They don't need a reason to kill you. I mean, what the guy did was foolish. If you don't, either you comply or you fight for that. You don't do half step. You should have knocked him out, sparked him out with a punch, and ran, or complied. Don't half step. He was half stepping. In addition with these people, any to kill you, they will kill you. That's what happened. Either you comply, show your driver license. You haven't got a driver license, take the consequences, or knock him out and run. One of the two. Don't run and rest on the ground. That's just foolish. That was foolish. Don't half step. But yeah, I mean, but you know, the guy should have complied with the license. That's the law. Don't give them a reason. You're right, but they don't need a reason. Gas them up. Tamir Rice, both of them, Jean, Vladimir, they were minding their business when they were killed by the police. Police don't need a reason. These people are predators. You know, as Mufasa said, if you show weakness to these people, you know, that's why they prey on us. Because here in the UK as well. So, hold on. Sam, I'm at work. Richard, I'm on a live chat. You take it. I'm on a live chat. You take it. I'm Easter. so embarrassing. Cool. I do apologize for that. Yeah. I mean, I'm saying, you know, comply or go full out. No in between. Doesn't make sense because they're looking for an excuse to kill you. You know, but again, don't need an excuse. That's my input.
But Brother Jughead, but that's the fact of being a third-class citizen or a second-class citizen, and we live with that. We live with that reality. So do we? I mean, like you said, they don't need a reason, and the fact that we're still in these foreign countries trying to get foreign currency lets us know that to a certain degree, subconsciously, we are accepting of that.
What accepting of what exactly? What do you mean exactly? Accepting of what, Gaston? I mean, of the situation or of the abuse?
Accepting of the fact that at any moment your life does not matter, right? So when you hear someone say, "Oh, Black Lives Matter," I mean, just look at basic economics. Look at tax dollars. Black lives don't matter. Gentrification could never have happened with Black people. Black people don't gentrify anything because we don't have the capital to gentrify. So even insurance, you look at insurance companies. The average life insurance for the Black person in America is not. Our lives don't matter, and that's just the reality. And it's kind of like no one wants to say it. Like, no, I matter. What do you mean I don't matter? No, we don't. And I think the minute we accept it, it's a tough thing to accept. It's a brutal thing to accept. Like I said, I feel like a piece of garbage saying it, but then we can know where to go from. But I think people don't want to accept that. They just want to resist in these haphazard ways. It's just my opinion.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we have to value ourselves first. We've got whether you're Africa, the UK, America, the Caribbean, whatever. We have to value ourselves first because we don't defend ourselves. Mufasa said, every day we show weakness. Look at, for instance, Africa, Libya, for instance, in 2022, right now, as we speak, those Arab mofos with our land said that we were slaves in 2022. Because African leaders, due to their cowardice, have stopped it. So what we saw with Tamir Rice, with Patrick, with both of them, with Eric Garner, it's all symptomatic of the same thing. They see us weak, cowardly, so they say it's an easy prey. That's what it is. As Mufasa said, if you act as prey, you'll be preyed upon. As simple as that. If you project weakness and disorganization, you'll be preyed upon by the strong and the ruthless. That's what's happened the last 400 or 500 years. We've allowed ourselves to be preyed upon by the Arabs, by Europeans, by now the Chinese. You know, so this will continue until we stop it.
I feel like resistance is always important. Like, you know, regardless of the level, resistance, you're always going to do what you can, you know. Sometimes you might be in completely powerless positions, like, but you know, you always want to put some type of resistance. Like they had slave making farms, right? In during the slave times. Some of our ancestors, what they would do is when they try to force them to breed, they would use herbs and poison and commit their own abortions just to resist the process, right? And when when you resist processes and make things more difficult, right, the bully tries to find someone easier to bully. That's the way it works. So even though the bully is stronger than you, because you fight back, the bully will find someone else to bully. So I just don't agree with no resistance because you don't have the
No. I didn't say that. Resistance is a natural part of any, you know, there's a saying in Africa, they say, if you hold somebody down in the mud, you two are also in the mud, right? Or they say the child that says the mother won't sleep doesn't realize that the child is also awake as well, right? So resistance is a natural reaction. But I'm just saying that, it's how we're resisting. Like what that brother did, was that resistance?
Nah, it's like it's here's the thing, guys. It's like, what the brother is saying about the resistance thing is like, if you pay attention, especially let's forget the Caribbean side or the African side, and let's just focus like on our African American brothers and sisters here. They've been able to move the needle. You understand what I'm saying? Like even here in America, there's certain things that not to do certain things to black folks. That there's a certain level of behavior there. If you mess with African Americans on a certain level, they gonna do something to you. They gonna it can be that there's a line that you just can't cross when it comes to African Americans, and it's like that comes out of resistance. Their ancestors didn't have much, but there's always been certain times where African Americans have rose up in the country, and they've kind of proven a point and said, "Hey, we gonna burn down this city, or we gonna do this, or we gonna get back at you." It hasn't always been a situation where we always getting beat up. Our brothers and sisters is always getting beat up. So there's always have to be like, you got to prove a point sometimes. You got to do something to kind of, like even level the playing field a little bit. I think that's what he means by the resistance. It's like, it's not always going to be this way. Like, we're not always going to be sitting here and all of a sudden we just get a call and another brother's shot down in the streets. It's got to be something. Something's got to be different. You understand what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I fully agree. But brother Mufasa, you asked the question. I want to touch back with that question because someone also posted it. They said two things. They said discipline leads to, it was from slavery, and then they also said, I think the same person, Trapperland, she also said discipline leads to domestic violence. What do you guys think about that? That it comes from slavery and it leads to domestic violence?
Nah, I disagree. I disagree with that. Is actually a problem that we're facing right now too, Gas, because that's a strange place for us to be, especially with us as Africans. Like, I had a situation last year where, my uncle visited us, from Ghana, and some of the kids were running around the house, and he kind of spanked one of the kids just a little bit. Nothing even serious like that. And the kids, like the African kids, if they grow up here, they have more of an American mindset. So she went to school and told the teacher that, yeah, my uncle hit me and blah, 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 this and that, made it seem like it was something serious. Next thing you know, the social services is at the house interrogating everybody. But discipline is needed. Like, if we don't discipline our kids, then it's going to go around. Like, they're going to end up like the kids that you're talking about, Gas. These students that you're trying to teach them, and, they're just completely, hard-headed. They know better. They think that they understand that they're going to walk out and it's going to be bad. You understand what I'm saying?
J Bones, you're correct. You must have discipline is essential to our liberation, because look, you can't be undisciplined and be free. It's not going to work. Like the comment that she made about discipline leads to domestic violence. That's not true. What's that? Domestic violence, DV, say in the UK, is a totally different thing. That's a man and a woman acting out of control. Because women beat men too, don't forget. It goes both ways. So remember that women beat men. That's one of the men that's highlighted. Women abuse men too. It goes both ways. So discipline, discipline of mind and character, not just physical discipline. So if Lady Chap was listening to my comment, please understand, discipline doesn't just mean physical. It means character, means tone, means intonation, means behavior, and my mindset as well. Being on the family, not just physical beatings. That's one aspect of discipline. So discipline is necessary, it's essential, because if you have strong families, current families, you have strong current communities. See, the white liberals, don't forget, Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X told us that the white liberals are big enemy. Malcolm X told us that. The reason why is because they can't interfere in our families and bring these concepts of laissez-faire, do as you please. Now, full well that decades down the line, they'll be cannoned for the prisons. That's why we put drugs into our communities, because here in the UK as well, because if you take drugs, you're strung out, you're cannoned for the prison justice complex system, for prison system. You're their fodder. That's what they want. If you really lack discipline, then your children, decades down the line, will be the fodder for the prisons. That's due to lack of discipline. You need discipline to have strong current families and communities. You need discipline. It's essential.
I mean, listen. Lack of discipline is what causes domestic violence. more than the other way around, more discipline. But I just wanted to get on that
Well, she
spanking
said
thing.
she said it was spanking. Actually, she said it wasn't
Yeah.
discipline. It's
Still on the
spanking.
spanking
That's
because
what she said.
the reason I asked you is because every time I was in Africa, like I did like long stays. Like I went with Dynast, right? That was one time. But other than that, I did like long stays, like a few weeks, months, stuff like that. And I always seen people spanking their kids, especially in Yoruba land. Anytime I went, I seen people spanking their kids and criticizing and making jokes about that. Like I've even ran into some Africans. I don't know why they thought that we didn't do that. And they said, yeah, this is the problem with Americans. They don't spank, they or whatever. So I used to think it came from slavery. But I talked to them, and I mean, they didn't have slavery, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people were spanking. So and then I noticed a lot of other communities spank too. So I don't think it comes from slavery. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Well, I think
it doesn't come from slavery because here's the thing about it. My grandmother was never a slave, and being from Ghana, I still get spanked. I'm 29, but if I do some, if you goofing around the house and like my grandmother be in the kitchen making some jollof, and I walk up to her and I'm kind of acting like a goofball, and I kind of pinch her a little bit, or I'm kind of joking around, she gonna spank you. It's like you're an adult, but you're still getting spanked. Like, you're gonna get disciplined, but it's all in love. It's not like some serious situations, but she reminding you, like, get back on your square. Don't be like that. It's like a level of respect. It's like a level
Yeah,
of
I
respect.
seen them spanking kids. I seen them spanking kids in Nigeria and Ghana. And
Oh
then I
yeah,
know there's still schools with go ahead.
yeah, in Ghana,
Go ahead.
definitely. In Ghana, nothing ever changed. Like, we still gonna be doing, and I wish we still had some of that over here, but unfortunately, that's not happening. So now you've seen a lot of these African kids, they picking up a lifestyle, and they just gonna end up like some of these kids that Gas was just explaining about. They're gonna be hard headed. They're not gonna learn the lesson. They're gonna walk out in life and learn things the hard way. And we're getting a lot of
And
that.
that,
The golden,
well, see,
even
and that's what.
something that's weird that a lot of people don't know about Africans is like the golden generation of, like, we used to do that. We used to brag about being the best, and hey, like, I'm the youngest out of 8 boys. Half of, probably, let me see, besides Charlie and Anthony, everybody went to Notre Dame. The rest of the family went to Stanford. We don't see that anymore. Like, that golden generation of Africans is completely gone. The generation that came, I'm a 90s baby. The generation that came after us, a lot of them are just crazy. A lot of them are very undisciplined. And they didn't grow up where we grew up at. They didn't get that discipline. So that discipline is always needed. Like, I'm 28. I still get spanked. Like, you in the kitchen acting a fool, somebody gonna walk around you and hit you.
Well, I'll put it like this. I think for me, there's a nuance to it, right? The context is this: in the Western system, there is a need for discipline and perhaps spanking. Um, for example, what you see in colonial Africa, especially West Africa, that I've studied, you had caning. Now, caning and stuff like that, that comes specifically from the British. Definitely encounters with Europeans. No one was walking around caning their children, and the reason why that didn't exist in that way is because the system was different, right? You didn't have to per se spank your child when you're teaching them how to farm and fish in the village. Now there were discipline. There was of course there was like, hey, you can't do this. So we have to put that in context to understand that a lot of times what we consider African culture is really colonial African culture, which is the African encounter with the Europeans. So yeah, there is some truth to the statement that we were not, like taking, like in Nigeria, you had the koboko, the horsewhip, or those long canes that they flogged us with in school. Floggings are a European thing, from my research. I could be wrong, but it's a different system that the African or the Native American had, right? So, like, the Native Americans didn't flog their children, but they got flogged when they were taken and converted from being a wild native and put in these schools. That was the first time they encountered like floggings and these corporal punishments that would happen to the body. So you can read
I mean,
like, yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, when I was studying, there's a book. I forget exactly what it's called. It's called Ma'at by Kilimanjaro. I forget the exact full name of it, but I think it's something Ma'at. But in that book, when he was breaking down the Medu Neter, the hieroglyphic or the Medu Neter, the picture for teaching, it was like a teacher holding a stick, right? And the implication, as he explained it, was that in order to teach, you need authority behind what you're teaching. But I'm like, if the teacher was holding the stick, and I could be misinterpreting this, but if anybody has that book by Kilimanjaro, or could
Well, no,
could could expound to
I'm,
it.
I have that probably is in Kilimanjaro's interpretation. I don't touch Egypt because I'm a West African. So me personally, I'm not a believer in this whole Egypt thesis that said African culture is a byproduct of Egyptian culture. That to me is part of the same thing where we're looking for being closer to civilization. So the Europeans said Egypt is the closest thing to civilization that the Africans have. So we claim it as opposed to saying, well, what about ancient Benin? What about old Zimbabwe? That's civilization too. But because the Europeans didn't validate and uphold it, we kind of shy away from it. So I'm not gonna,
Well,
I don't know.
if you look at
But,
our and like
but
I said, I don't have to be connected to them or whatever the case. But if you
no,
look at
but
their
what I'm
spiritual
saying is,
system, it relates.
the European system. That's right. We can read Foucault, right? Foucault talks about discipline and punish. You can read Jeremy Bentham, right? The European system is what creates that discipline. So that's why I said it has to be in context and there's nuance. We were not flogging our children like the way you'll see a Yoruba woman today, like Brother Mufasa said. Yoruba woman says, "Oh yeah, come, why, one be this one," and the child doesn't do it, and oh yeah, you're so stupid, and she beats the crap out the kid, right? Like I always say when I go to Nigeria, I tell the women in the compound, listen, please, for the next week, can I not hear any child cry? Can you talk to your child? And they look at me and they laugh. I'm like, yeah, talk to the child. Let's see if we can figure out a way. But I understand because, again, the system that we live under, you have to go to school, you have to deal with authority figures. We didn't have that per se. There's a great article where it talks about how to raise a Bambara child. That's why we need to research what were West African villages like. No one was in the village saying, well, I got to study for my SATs. I got to study for my WIAC exam. So that didn't exist. So how did we discipline our children? We weren't flogging them, of course not.
Hey guys, we'll do one more round and we'll close out. I gotta go pick up Mansa from school, but we'll start off with you, Jughead. Anything else you'd like to share in closing?
Yes, thanks, Dan, for your broadcast. Great broadcast as usual. One more thing before I go. Yeah, I'm done. That's that comment I made in your post about Tamir Ross, Fernando Castillo, and Botham Jones. I wasn't comparing that situation. That Patrick was a fool. I said before, either comply or fight for that. Don't half step. What I say is that police don't need a reason to kill you. They're going to kill you. They're going to kill you. That's what I was trying to make. They don't need a reason to kill us. If they want to kill you, they'll kill you unless you fight back. So I wasn't comparing Patrick to the Tamir Rice because he was foolish. Either comply or fight for that. Don't run and wrestle on the floor. That's just foolish. They'll just kill you, which happens to our brother because he made a miscalculation due to lack of discipline or whatever. He should have just showed up his driver license. If he didn't have much, then tell the consequences. Now he's dead now because of lack of discipline. Anyway, that's it. Mufasa, Dinas, J Bones. Peace out for London. Take care.
Yeah, peace, bro.
All right, go ahead, Mufasa.
I guess so. Take care of you as well.
Yeah, like I said everything there is to say about that. On the end of the day, you grab a police's gun or anything close to that, people are going to fear for their life, right? But I do think the key is this is another example, of why discipline is important, and part of instilling discipline in the community is having fathers in the homes. That shows you the importance. And I will just say really quick on this whole spanking thing. um you shouldn't be doing too much spanking, right? Because two issues with spanking, because I know some traumatized people with it, and like I said, I got a lot of spankings. I think I got too many, because what happens is sometimes people are taking things out that are happening outside the home out on the children, or taking it out on the wife, or taking it out, right? And then you have some women, especially when there's no one else in the home, who are spanking out of anger, right? So these are a couple things that need to be avoided, right? You should be spanking out of love and strategically. And if you are identifying and addressing problems early on, early and often, you won't have to spank that often. It'll just be something that you do sparingly just to restore order. So it's not like I'm saying we should just be spanking all day, but spanking should be an option on the table and should be exercised depending on the kid, so we can make sure we instill discipline in our kids. And that's pretty much all I got to say. Thanks for having me on, Dennis.
No problem. Go ahead, J Bones.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Prince. Much appreciated, man. Peace to the guys on the panel. Peace to everybody in the chat. There's no way to spin this, unfortunately. The brother, we can't bring his life back. Nobody's. It's a lot of resistance in the chat when we were talking about the idea of him running, and it like, well, the officer executed him. He's a killer, blah blah blah, this and that. I'm more concentrated on the idea that there's no right ways for this situation. It's just a horrible situation. I wish the best for his family, because this thing is just completely it's not just him being an African, but it's like every day we got to look at another one of somebody that looks just like us getting gunned down in the streets or losing their life. But unfortunately, like I don't get it. I'm more disappointed in the idea. I don't understand why he ran. I just the whole thing is just confusing, Prince. But peace to everybody, and hopefully better days ahead, because this thing is very depressing. Much love to you, Prince. Catch you on the other side.
I appreciate it, brother. All right, gas them up. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, man. I just want to round up by saying, this is with the title. Where are these people who, said that once this guy gets out of office, that life will be better, Dynast? I think you should definitely, possibly hold another video with guys like Brandon and Colin, because they got to call these people out. Let people call in who are supporting this new guy who's in office, saying everything's going to be A-okay. And it's like they're like the ostrich with the head in his hand. Where are these people at? So all of you people who voted for this dude, what is he doing? So that's what I want to say about that, man. Like, where are you people at who said things will be better under this new regime? Is this the better that they told us we would get?
Yes, sir. Hey, everyone, thank you so much for joining. And we'll do that show. We'll try to get that in before I leave. But everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Peace.